Make no mistake, sin separates. It causes separation in relationships with our fellow man and, more importantly, with our Father in heaven. In Genesis chapter 3, we are reminded of the position, this incredible position of privilege that Adam and Eve had with God. They were in perfect communion. They would walk with him in the cool of the garden on a regular basis, a life of peace and bounty. And then they both sinned, and they listened to lies, and they ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And so what happened? We learn in Genesis chapter 3 that God actually went searching for them. And he asked, "Where are you?" Of course, when they heard God coming, their sin had them running and hiding from God in shame, naked and afraid. Adam responded to that question of "Where are you?" in verse 10 with this. And he, meaning Adam, says this, "I heard the sound of you in the garden. I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself." God said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree which I commanded you not to eat?" The man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me the fruit of the tree and I ate." Then the Lord God said to the woman, "What is this that you have done?" And the woman said, "The serpent deceived me and I ate." Blame shifting. Adam didn't own his own sin before a holy God. Eve didn't either. And the serpent, the devil himself, well, we know the answer to that. Adam blamed Eve. Eve blamed the serpent. The serpent was just happy that division had been created between mankind and its creator, the Father in heaven. But guess what? The blame shifting didn't work. God didn't say to Adam and Eve and say, "You know what? You're right. If it hadn't been for those circumstances, you would have been perfectly justified in your actions and in the manner with which you behaved." No. God didn't excuse the blame shifting, and instead he held each of them to account for their actions. Read the rest of chapter 3. Just don't take my word for it. No different for humanity or for any one of us individually today. We will all stand alone before a holy God. And if the argument for your actions is going to be because there's been some injustice done to you in this world, well, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. God will require that you account for yourself, not for someone else. What did you do with the grace given you? Hate, argue, cause division, justify some sinful actions? Remember, nothing will be hidden before him to whom we must give account, the Bible tells us. Honestly, I recognize it is easier to blame someone else than ourselves. It's in our sinful nature. It's almost more natural, honestly. Loving others and hating our own sin, however, isn't always easy, but it is what we are called to do. And as believers, as Christians, we should be easy to pick up out of this world, by an unbelieving world, no less. Jesus said in John chapter 13, verse 35, "By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." We have knowledge of good and evil. We know there are consequences for our actions. It doesn't matter who's president. It doesn't matter what race the world says we belong, when actually we belong to one human race made in the image of our Creator God. Someday we will all have to give an account and alone. My hope is we all hear these words, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And if we hear these words in heaven as believers today, I have to believe this world today would be a little bit better for it. Let us stay on mission and let us share the hope of Jesus Christ with this world that needs him now more than ever. God bless. I hope you have a great week, and peace